Hey there, guys. So today we're another episode of Heady Topper Weekly. This is episode 5, week 5. Every week I'll go through a Heady Toppers, tell you how it changes, and actually this week I'll be adding something else at the end of the video. I'll be talking about palate, your sense of smell, everything about that, and sort of give a little rant about that. And then hopefully every week I'll be talking about something different. So yeah, let's dig in the beer. The beer is coming in a nice kind of hazy, golden orange amber. It actually looks a bit more orange than I remember. I don't know if that my mind's playing tricks on me, but yeah, I think it looks a bit slightly darker. So yeah, let's get the aroma on this. Very similar, similar from last week. Again, there's a hint of sweetness I'm getting, a sort of like a citrus peel, an orange, a pineapple, but again those herbaceous dank notes. Yeah, that yeasty breadiness they get from Heady Topper. Let's get the flavor on this. Mm. Still classic Heady Topper. Again, this beer is extremely resilient. Hasn't really changed too much. I will say though, I do sense there's a bit of sweetness that I'm getting more. Maybe like a dried pineapple candy that I'm getting, apricot, orange. There's maybe a hint of fruitiness, a hint of fruity sweetness that I think the beer might be developing. I was suspecting that last week. It might be confirmation bias this week. Hopefully next week we'll see. I think this beer is slowly, slightly developing, but clearly it's still Heady Topper. It's not really quite changing. So again, very resilient beer. So moving on, I want to talk about your palate, your sense of smell, and everything. And there's a documentary I highly recommend called Somm, S-O-M, and it's about the test to become a master sommelier in the wine drinking world. And there's an awesome scene in there, and the scene is like sort of it tells you about what does a lavender taste like, what does it taste like in the fall, the spring, when it's dead or alive. And I think the lesson is sort of your palate and your ability to taste things is only as good as your knowledge of foods or anything, or not even just foods, rocks, the dirt, flowers, and so I think that means that your palate really needs to be based on how good you are at experiencing things, experiencing flavors, and that's the reason why one should go out to sort of taste everything and smell everything they can. So I've sort of gone out of my way to do that. I went through my spice rack recently, and I just smelled dry coriander because I hadn't done that in a while. Hadn't really, used coriander in a while, and so hopefully that'll be, fresh in my memory, so that next time I have a Vit beer or saison, I can definitely pick out, oh, this is coriander. Recently at a tasting, and a friend said that tastes like starfruit, and I was like, oh wow, I haven't had starfruit in so long, and even though I had tasted what starfruit tastes like, and I know that flavor, it wasn't fresh in my memory, and I wasn't able to pick it out, and that's a rusty kind of knowledge. So important to sort of refresh your memory on foods, and smell everything, taste everything. And so there's a reason why you should also smell things, is because your olfactory glands, your sense of smell, is actually where flavor comes from. What we taste on our tongue, people might think like, that's so snobby. Why are you smelling that? Your sense of smell is actually where flavor comes from. Your tongue can only really sense bitterness, sweetness, saltiness, the main senses. And so your connection with your nose is where is, and these glands is where really the sense of flavors and everything is picked out. And so if you lose that sense of smell, you actually are unable to pick out flavors. There are people that have had that loss before, and they used to be able to taste a cinnamon, a spice, and everything, and then losing that ability, food just tastes like mush to them. It doesn't taste like anything. Their sense of flavor is completely lost because they're unable to, those receptors aren't able to pick up those familiar flavors that they know in their head. And so to do a little experiment, I thought I'd taste a beer. By the way, when I taste beer, I try to let it sit on my palate, let myself breathe while I'm doing it. Mm. There's a wonderful, up and down of flavors. Heady Topper has this wonderful just complexities, that fruit, the herbaceous quality, that yeasty bready note, that bready, yeah, everything's there. It's just wonderful. That kind of like hot juice kind of thing that attacks you. So yeah, let's do it without my nose. Yeah, I will say that I definitely recommend trying that. I know it looked weird, but The beer just didn't have as much complexity to me. The sweetness was almost hidden, I think. It tasted more like bitter fruit bread water, which I guess Heady Topper is. But it just didn't have those spikes of interesting hop flavors. I think there was even less sweetness because my brain sort of tricked me to think that there's more sweetness because I associated the fruity hops of pineapple, mango, apricot with sweetness, and so just without my sense of smell, I was unable to pick out those flavors, and therefore it tasted more bitter and less sweet to me. I don't know, maybe that's just me being crazy. Definitely recommend trying it yourself to really see how your sense of smell affects your sense of flavor and taste. So moving on, I guess my goal to ranting on about this is that taste and smell everything you can because that definitely develops your palate and your knowledge is really where your palate is based off of. So drinking and eating more is obviously helpful, but developing your encyclopedia of knowledge for your palate is just as important. And then speaking about that, is that your palate is not only useful for beer. Craft beer is awesome, and craft beer has definitely led me to develop my palate. But that has also developed my palate for other purposes, and it's helped me taste spirits to wines to fruits to meats to everything better. Think coffees or chocolates, whatever. Everything just tastes to me more bright. My mind is able to conceptualize foods and drinks a lot better, and that makes to me things a lot more enjoyable. The fact that you're able to describe and understand why you like something is the whole point of enjoying certain foods. If you go out of your way to I want to try this new restaurant out, well, your ability to sort of use your palate and sort of understand why you're enjoying that meal is just part of the excitement about trying foods, trying new things, trying things you like, or having food again that you like. So also think about craft beer is that you're developing your palate not only for beer but also for other things. You can taste things better. Everything else is just more enjoyable. So yeah, that's my little speech. So until next time, guys. Cheers. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Later.